Welcome back to Wheel Chat, our fifth episode.
Wheel chat. No, no.
Pipe down.
Been a long day.
It's our fifth episode and actually our last couch session.
Ooh.
This has been nice. Sitting on a little couch. I wish I had lived in Leeds. Well, I wish you lived in Australia and you bought this couch.
You never know what the future
never know
holds.
what happens. Bring a little Hunter. Hunter, you want to come? Come to Australia?
Yeah.
It's our last session of live face-to-face, but we will be continuing these
great.
sessions.
It's been cool.
Over Zoom, and we'll actually be having more guests. So in between these episodes, we got really excited and we started messaging people.
Yeah, we've had
And
some
we've already
fun.
got some confirmed guests of people who are experts in their field and people we generally want to chat to about a certain topic or a product.
Yeah, because I think through chatting and what we know is, we've got like some really good knowledge between us, but there's always people out there with greater knowledge in that specific area. And
we can always learn more. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So we'll tell you about what we like, what we know, and then for the things that we don't know, we'll get people on and then we can all learn together.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. But today,
Where are you getting your hair done, by the way?
Mate, this is actually a keratin treatment. I got done before the wedding. This is how I just wake up like
You've changed. I mean, I don't know you, but I mean, keratin treatment. What next?
I don't know.
Jojoba oils wrapped. Where are we going with
I'll be
this?
getting laser to get rid of the hair off my arms. Who knows what's next?
And I see you've lost the nails from the wedding.
No, I cut them the other day. Emma's very on me with cutting them. Also got my first mani-pedi before the wedding.
Oh.
So no cuticles on these bad boys.
Wow, you really went to town.
Yeah, I know. All things for...
Was it a suited affair?
Yeah, suited affair. I'll show you some photos. There was drums, there was everything, mate. It was a wedding to go to. Best wedding ever, babe. Best wedding ever.
I'm still waiting for the invite.
You'll get it soon.
You want to
join us for the last episode?
We've got Emma shouting, we've got party.
There's nothing better when people come up to you after your wedding. They say that was the best wedding I've ever been to. It's like
yeah, I mean, I hate to say that is what people say.
I know, but they really meant it this time.
No, I'm
we
sure,
literally had
knowing the two of you,
we had
sure.
big Lebanese drummers. We even had a brass band come in, and they were just like working within the crowd, and it was like really interactive. Sang on a megaphone on the dance floor, and it was just
How did you get over like the whole being a center of attention thing? Because that must have like destroyed you.
I had a lot of anxiety around that. That's actually how I opened my speech. I was like, "Oh, hey guys, I hate to be the center of attention, so I'll make this short."
I'm sure there was like a video going on or something.
I'm
sure we'll be posting.
The video will be coming out soon, so we can relive it then.
Cool. So what we chatting about
today? We did the battle of the mid-wheel drives around the bases. I thought today would be fun. Why don't we chat about the battle of the aluminium folding chairs?
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's a tongue twister.
Aluminium,
really catchy.
Or aluminum. The reason is because it was actually really hard to narrow them down because there are so many.
No,
we started going, we'll just talk about these 4 chairs, and then when we looked into it, there's like probably 30 chairs, 30 chairs, like folding chairs, and they all do the same thing. They're all slightly different. Even within the brand, like Ottobock will have 6 folding chairs. Quickie has a bunch of chairs. Like, do we need that many folding chairs? Probably not. So we've actually narrowed it down. So I reckon we talk about 4 ones that we've had the most experience with, so we could talk about them the most.
Yeah.
To which that is for me, that's the Quickie 2, but the Q.
Yeah, so like the Quickie Live, Quickie 2 in the UK sort of being superseded by the QS5X.
Yeah, so QS5X is like one we'll talk about.
Again, who names wheelchairs? I don't know, I'm not being funny, but we should be in the business of naming wheelchairs because like it's horrendous.
I don't know how they get
QS5. I mean, what?
They should just pick like something like types of fish and just name like fish or something, like different types of fish or like a type of tree and just pick something consistent because QX5 means nothing.
I don't know. I really, honestly, like,
I don't know. Well, we got the Aerox. That's a cool name because aircraft aluminium. That's what, and then the X is like the folding frame. Then we got the Kuschall Compact, which is a silly name as well because why would it be compact? It doesn't need, like, you kind of want it to fit the person. Doesn't matter if it's, it's molded around the person. So there's no such thing as a real compact manual chair.
Yeah, good point.
And then the last one was the Ottobock Avantgarde, which I have no idea what that means. It does mean something.
Avant-garde. It feels like,
On guard.
On guard.
On guard.
On guard.
On guard. So they are the 4, or so of those 4, which ones have you had the most experience with? Or what's your go-to?
I just had a really weird vision of like, leaning over to the left side and whipping the wheels off and like avant-garde, we could have a wheel on.
God.
No, not feeling that. Yeah. Sorry. Well, you were asking me a question.
Yeah. Well, what's the chair out of those 4? Which one have you had the most experience with?
I would say my most experience is with the Compact.
Yep.
Kuschall Compact, been out a long time. For me, it's like a fail-safe. It's like, it's not going to go wrong with that chair.
Yep.
It delivers on all the promises I find. It did go through a slight sort of revamp where they've kind of in-rigged the front and it's kind of like,
yeah.
And I just, do you know, through several hundred assessments and people testing them, it's very rare that one doesn't come up as one of people's favorites on certain roll, on the weight, and on what they're looking for. It kind of delivers on all fronts.
Yes.
There are downsides for sure in terms of, maybe the adjustment at some points, although it's pretty good.
I would have to agree. I think the Kuschall Compact is probably, it's up there. It's probably my favorite folding chair, but I very rarely do it. But that's more because in Australia, supply isn't that great.
Okay.
And it's like, you need to support the chair after it. So delivery times are important.
I mean, I'd love to say UK, the supply's not great. No, but actually it's got a lot better. We went through a little bit of a dip.
It's probably better now. But like, if you're looking at it just as a pure product, I would say it's a pretty good chair. What I like about it is that you have the option, similar to the Avantgarde, you can have the single, and correct me if I'm wrong, single brace and double brace.
Yeah, cross
So if it's
brace.
16 inches and under, you do save a bit of weight by having the one cross brace instead of double cross brace.
Yeah. So you got to be careful though on that because it's only a certain climb that you can really afford to do that.
Yeah. So if they're lightweight, if they're somewhere that's 16 inches wide or under, pretty light, like nice on their chair, then I think it's a good chair.
Yeah.
What I love about the Kuschall as well is the armrest, because none of the manual chairs have a side guard. You can't really do it's either side guard or armrest.
Correct.
So that's one issue. So they have an armrest that has both. It's like a T handle.
That's right.
With side guard, which is lovely. What I also like about it is that it's a lightweight armrest and that it's still quite strong. Because a lot of you think about the Quickie armrest, the flip back armrest, or the Airrex ones, the single post.
Yeah.
They're quite weighty in the receiver and everything. But this armrest does both. It is a strong one because it's a T post. So it's strong. It includes side guards and it's lightweight. So that alone is like, oh, I really like this chair. I like that. I like the look of the Kuschall. I also like the hard adjustable push handles you can put on the back. I think it's a really, really good chair product wise.
It's also the lighter.
Is it?
It's 9.6 kg.
There you go. With the single cross brace.
Yeah, 9.6. It's coming in the lightest.
Yeah.
Now there'd be an argument on, the Avantgarde is 9.7.
We're talking 100 grams.
Yeah.
And these are I don't know who does these weights. Like, how do they weigh them? Are they all 16 by 16?
I know, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, yes, if you read the small print, it will be all down. And remember, it's all without any sort of accessories or anything on there.
I always question. I actually have a luggage scale because when people ask me how much does this weigh, I'm like, I don't know. I get why they're asking me, but I'm like, I have no idea. It depends on how this is configured. How we're going to configure your chair is going to be different. How there's so much factors at it.
I don't know about you, but sometimes when somebody says how much weight and you go, oh, it's really light, and you go, oh, bloody hell, it's actually not. It's not. It doesn't feel that light.
Okay, before we even get into the chairs, I actually want to say this is probably one of my biggest sadness aspects of our industry is our folding manual wheelchairs. Is that they cost so much. And I get this carbon fiber and titanium, and that's not what today's episode's about.
Yeah.
But just for a chair that costs thousands of pounds or dollars, you'd expect it to be so light. But there are off-the-shelf chairs that are lighter. So when people come from an off-the-shelf chair, like a Breezy Basics or something, or even a Karma self-propelling chair, and then they're like, oh, here's this one that's 10 times the price of what your off-the-shelf one was. And they lift it and they're like, oh, this is heavy.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say, hey, this is it. Now I get why it's heavier because it's more durable.
Yeah.
They're custom made so that, they configure in a certain way and the components are stronger so you can reposition. They're designed to last a longer time. Still, the weight should be nicer. And I don't think any of these chairs scream out as if whoa, this is really light.
Yeah, no, I mean, until you're getting into your sort of high-end titaniums and stuff like that.
Titanium, even the carbon fiber ones,
yeah.
I say that's when you really start to feel, oh, this is a lightweight chair. This is better than what I had before.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, none of these, in terms of weight-wise, super lightweight. So, and where the differences really come in are their options and features. So I think Kuschall has pretty good amount of options, but what I have always not liked about it is coming to script it is always a bit of a nightmare because they don't have a configurator. So on TiLite and Ottobock and Quickie, they all have like an online configurator. So when you put it in there, based on the seat to floor height or the wheel size, and it will tell you, will this work or will it not? And just every time I do a Kuschall, maybe I need to get my experience up. One, it's in centimeters, which kills me, even though I'm Australian.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is 39 centimeters seat to floor height. I'm like, what's that in inches? We all work in inches, so I've got a converter. But then I think I'm following it right, but there's always something that catches me. And that time of order, it's not until the manufacturer come back and they say, oh, actually, you can't do this. And you're like, oh, I've got to go back. And hey, do you actually want these wheels? It's just noise. And so that So that the fact that the script form is a bit tricky to work with, the fact that we don't in Australia, our supply, to my knowledge, isn't that great. It could be wrong. And parts have always been a bit of a nightmare.
I think we're much better suited for that than here because we're not seeing that same feedback.
Yeah.
And there are configurators available now online at Invercare.
Yeah. Can you get drum brakes on them?
On a Kuschall Compact, I believe you can, actually. You can. You can. And that's a problem, actually, on a lot of
people ask for that.
Yeah. And on a folding lightweight aluminium, you struggle on that. And you also struggle to put a mountain bike tire on with a hub brake. So you have to be careful of that. But that's a really nice option to offer someone when you can, because that person really wants to go on that rugged terrain. Yeah.
So Kuschall, light, decent amount of options, looks nice, quite sturdy seating system, reliable, but back end is a bit tricky. So I think as a product standpoint, it's a pretty good product.
Yeah.
Now, where do you go?
Well, just to let you know, so that is starts in the UK at £2,025, which, to be fair, is the highest price point out of all the Ford chairs that we were discussing. It's not that, but it's just a thing to bear in mind.
It's a good question about, I wouldn't even think about which one's the most expensive. For me, I know the Quickie 2 and the Airrex are priced very similarly because I do a lot of quote comparisons, and it's like a few $100 difference between them. It's hard to really say one's more than the other, but
I think, in all fairness to the Kuschall, you can see the quality within the frame. Yeah. And that's what I would say is quite, for me, if you were pairing up, for instance, the Quickie Life, we're not selling in the UK really anymore because it's been superseded by the QS5X. I still think there is a visual quality difference.
Yeah, I could agree.
And I think that in terms of let's come back to the weights, actually. So we were talking about the weight in terms of lifting, but actually, in fairness to the user or the end user, who's the most important person, what would they talk about the role? Would they find that easier to propel?
I think for me, in this range of chairs, these we'll call them
active folders.
I wouldn't say they're active folding chairs though. Yeah. I think these are just folding chairs, and your active folding chairs are more like your Zenit.
Yeah.
Your what's the Pajero one that has the
Joker?
Is that the one that has the? It's similar to the Champion.
Yeah.
The Kuschall Champion. So these lightweight folding chairs that are built for more rigidity, that's like your active chair. These ones are for more, I guess, your disability population where they're not necessarily pushing. They might be pushing short distances, but they're not necessarily really active.
Coming out of your breezy and they're saying, I want a good quality chair and I need it to be lighter.
That's highly configurable. Yeah. And on the highly configurable, this is where I think the Quickie 2 trumps all of them. I think this is the one we can get the lowest seat to floor height. You can get the best options for different types of casters, and the Build For Me team will do whatever you want. I think for me, you get the least amount of configuration issues with the Quickie 2. That's why I think Quickie 2 is a really good, reliable product. It also has a growth kit, which is fun. So if you're a new OT or a new physio or prescriber and you're worried about the width doing it wrong, I mean, it's not an ideal thing to do. But
because we don't measure wrong, right?
Yeah, we don't measure wrong. We never make mistakes. I've never had to use the growth kit to fix one of my members. But yeah, you get a free growth kit. So within 5 years of manufacturing of the chair, if a child grows or client's condition changes and you need more seat depth to put a thicker backrest, you can get a growth kit where they'll send you all the parts for free, but then you have to get a technician to install it, which does cost money. So I think that's cool to have a free growth kit and have a really highly configurable chair. And have the Build For Me options for Quickie 2.
Yeah.
Quickie range.
I mean, in the UK, as I say, everything has been superseded really on this QS5X. They've really invested a lot of time and effort on that.
I'm sure they'd have the same thing.
I think it's improved the Quickie. Yeah. But you said yourself you haven't had a huge amount of experience yet. So it'll be good to get your feedback when you're back in Australia and you're working with it.
QS5X.
Keep me posted on what you think.
I have been told it doesn't supersede, but I can't remember why. For us, it's not they'll still have the Quickie 2, but what does the Quickie 2 do that the QS5 can't do? Yeah, we'll have to find out. Yeah, so that's the Quickie 2, and then anything else on the Quickie 2 that you want to mention? Stroller handles.
Yeah,
people love stroller handles.
They do.
Those little
the little ones that flip up and down. Yeah, so you call it a pram handle, stroller handle, which I hate the name actually because you're not a child in there, right?
Well, I think we call them Hashi. They're height adjustable stroller handle. That's what they call them. They're not height adjustable, they're more angle adjustable. Yeah, so
there's about 3 different types, right? So, I mean, the height adjustable push handles, I think that lets it down. I'm going to be honest with you in terms of aesthetics. Yeah, we've had some beautiful looking chairs and then they clamp on the height adjustment because they're the ones that clamp on.
Oh, the ones that separate ones.
Not the internal ones that are built within, but they don't seem to do those on that. I just think that aesthetics really lets you down, actually.
It does let you
so
down.
point to people out there that are doing that, sort it out.
And with push handles, an interesting thing as well is, this is one thing I like about the Kuschall and not so much the other hard adjustable ones, is that the Kuschall one actually bends out a little bit. So with those hard adjustables,
that's right.
it's good to have it high, but you're so close to the client.
Yeah.
So it's good to be able to like angle it back so you've got a bit more range to not kick your feet on the anti-tippers. So I like that they do that, which is quite nice.
Yeah. The price point's really keen on the Quickie Life and the QS5X. It's like QS5X starts at £1,500 and the Quickie Life here, although it's not really something that you get, is like $1,695. Thank you.
That's all right. So
for people who can watch, I just got approached by Justin in a very sort of loving way.
I was waiting for the kiss.
And there was no kiss, unfortunately.
I was just fixing your mic.
Thanks, man. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
So yeah, price point wise, really competitive.
Yes.
How does that fix in Australia? Is it a
nice
price point over there?
All four of those chairs are all priced quite competitively. So I think the similarities between all four for us is they're priced comparatively. They weigh roughly the same. Again, it's more just comes to what can you do with it and how reliable and stuff there. How well can you get parts?
Tell me, anything being made out in Australia? Any manufacturing?
There is the glide wheel chairs. They are similar to I've never worked with them. Anyone that uses them will say, mate, glides. They bloody last a lifetime. They're Australian made, just like any country. If there was one in the UK,
I love it.
Everyone in the UK would love RGK. Anyone in is it Switzerland that Kuschall?
Yeah.
Swiss would love. Swiss is the best.
Yeah.
Ottobock is Germany. So on Ottobock, what do you?
Yeah, Avantgarde. It's an older chair in terms of it's been out forever. It feels like for me, a reliable chair. Ottobock. That is one thing I think, whether you agree or not, that Ottobock, what you do get with Ottobock is reliability. You get that German engineering. Yeah. And I feel it delivers in that. They've got the Zenith as well. We're going a bit more high end on that. So the Avantgarde, I always felt was a bit weighty. But when I look at the weights, it doesn't reflect that.
It might just be the configuration you've had. But one thing I like about that, you can do the similar thing to the Kuschall and have the single cross brace instead of the two. So if you've got someone who's 16 inches and under, you can have a single cross brace, which reduces the weight. Similar to the Kuschall, I like the armrests because they've got like those.
Yeah, I think it's an attractive looking chair.
Yeah, it's a good looking chair. And then, so it's got those armrests that have side guards built in and flip back and has those like quick hard adjustable handles. So like, I just feel like it's sturdy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what I love about it, it's the only chair that actually snaps opened. You know how you open it? You open them and then the chairs will just sort of rest on those little seat clamps. But then to actually like, when you have to push it up, palm, and it goes boom, boom. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Now it's like stiff.
There's real feedback.
And why is that so important? So if someone is pushing a chair, there's rigidity in the chair. And when you don't have rigidity, when you have flex, every push, you lose energy. So to be able to have a chair that is pretty everyday chair, it's not necessarily an active chair, but snaps closed, also has 140 kilo weight capacity. I didn't write any notes, mate. This is all from memory, mate.
This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You're getting it live and you're getting it quick and it's happening now. Actually,
so without going
it says 130. No, I'm joking.
Without going to a heavy duty chair, which often heavy duty options weigh more. Yeah. So you've got an everyday weighted chair at 140 kilos.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah, it looks cool. Colors are good.
It's nice. You got some nice prescription options there.
The push handles aren't great. Like the hard adjustable push handles. It's like, I hate when they have hard adjustable push handles and it like gives you like 5 inches of range.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of this? Like, either you want them down out of the way or you're up.
Yeah.
For everybody.
When you were talking about rigidizers, do you call it a rigidizer? But we were having this chat in work the other day, and there's like across the 3 different companies. The American companies, like they call it a rigidizer or whatever we call it, we were talking about keeping the chair fixed in a really nice sort of solid when you put it down. And then you can have a cross brace on a lot of manual wheelchairs that just gives that, if you've got a canvas back.
So you mean the push handle, like the rigidizer bar.
There you go. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, rigidizer bar, stabilizer bar.
Yeah,
you can do
just
that.
Curious, that was a tool.
That's more for, I guess, the canvas backs that you want to reduce that twist.
But I think that's important because people overlook that sometimes, and you go out and you think, oh, the person says, I'm pushing it, and it's like, there's a handle. You're like,
definitely for durability of the chair. You imagine if you're pushing a push handle and you're pushing all the way up here, sorry for the listeners, and it comes all the way down to the base. There's a lot of leverage.
At present, Justin has his right arm over his left.
He's dancing. So there's a lot of like wear and tear on the push handle. So having a rigidizer
Yeah, it's just, but again, it's just, that was a total side note. Just curious to see what we're calling it these days.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So I think.
So that's 3 of them. We've done.
No, you've got the 4 there. We've
done Airrex.
Oh, yes. Got the Airrex.
That's American.
So that's not a product that I've been working with.
That's American.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about the Aero X is that it's made in the U.S.
He's very Forrest Gump on me there. Very a box of
chocolates.
Yeah, it's not a product I've worked with, so you tell me about it.
It's just another great. It's more the who makes it that makes it so great. Permobil, and Permobil is just really reliable for us, especially in Australia. They're just reliable on parts, are reliable on lead times, reliable on product. So it's just like you know what you're going to get, no surprises.
So it's TiLite.
TiLite, yeah.
Yeah,
so
sorry, just for the users,
but in terms of its options, I don't necessarily think it offers anything that other chairs don't. It either offers the same, or
So the Aero Z, the Aero X.
No, just the Aero X.
Yeah,
so the Aero Z is rigid, but
yeah,
Aero
exactly,
X is fold in.
Yeah.
What it does offer is a titanium version, but that's the 2GX.
Yeah.
But in terms of features, I can't think of anything that the Aero X does.
So it's a really popular chair for us. I don't personally go out because it's one of my colleagues works with the TiLite products more, but he absolutely loves them. He always has, and he'll put his name to that all the time.
Yeah, but I'd love another person to get on the pod is, hey mate, why do you love the Aero X so much? And I'd be happily debating, but I do a lot of Aero X's as well, but it's just because it's a good, reliable product.
Exactly,
And to be honest, you get a good outcome for your client. It's how you design the chair. But if we're splitting hairs, which is what this podcast is all about, it's finding the intricate details. Yeah,
it's got a nice folding back.
Yep.
But there was an issue with the folding back at one point. I don't know if it's
is that on the rigid chairs?
On the folding, with the fold down back.
Yeah, the new precision lock backrest, which is nice, and it was just weak and it kept breaking.
Yeah. So, that was just a point to note for anyone listening.
Yeah. But I don't think there's any real reason to be like, oh, like that's why you go Airrex.
No,
and I could be wrong here, but maybe we get your boy on.
Ooh.
Who is he? Shout him out.
He's got a face for radio.
Maybe when we're back and doing Zoom, we'll have cameras
Andrew. He'll be laughing, kind of.
Yeah.
No, by all means. Look, listen, it's got a great name, TiLite. It always has. And what I have found, in all fairness, is TiLite users, from when I've chatted to them, they stick with them.
Yeah.
You don't find they change.
No.
Well, certainly from my experience, certainly within the company and customers when we're chatting to them, it's very rare that they'll sort of. I've seen them move.
I guess like anything, like people have cars and they live a Nissan versus a Toyota. People are like, oh no, I always go this. So people can just get attached to certain brands. But in terms of
same with cushions, right? As well. Yeah.
In terms of actual specifications, there's not a whole lot of difference. Like again, you could do most things with most chairs, but there's a few certain things I like. So if I was to make perfect chair,
I am putting you on. I'm putting you now.
All right, let's wrap this up with a perfect chair. I would have the Ottobock. I like the idea of a snap lock Ottobock seat. I would probably have the Ottobock or the Kuschall armrest on there, so they're like the ones that.
So we're Avantgarde.
Avantgarde. No, I'm not picking one. I'm a hybrid of.
You're hybriding.
I'm having the options of a Quickie 2, so the seat to floor height, the caster size, the build for me options of a Quickie 2. The Quickie 2 stroller handles, which are very almost all my folding chairs have that. To a point where I've even had to retrofit them onto a TiLite sometimes. When people go into a TiLite. The growth kit of a Quickie 2, and the made in America of TiLite. The reliability of the brand of TiLite.
We need to just completely hybrid them all and just see what we end up with.
Well, there's even better chairs as well. There's other chairs out there, and there are other brands within Aluminium. There's we didn't talk about the Catalyst, the motion composites.
Yeah, we've got key mobility with the Cat 5.
Yeah.
Our Cat. We've got motion composites, lovely wheelchairs.
Yeah,
really nice
they've
wheelchairs.
got that's actually probably my favorite folding chair.
Yeah.
But they I didn't talk about them today because the carbon one is really where it's at.
Yeah.
Super lightweight.
It's beautiful chair. Yeah. But we're talking top end. And
we're talking about the aluminium. Yeah, we're talking about aluminium. This is like your entry level ish.
You've had a breezy. You've had that sort of thing. You've kind of now got you need the wheelchair to do more. Somebody's pushing you, or you need it a bit lighter to propel.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about, right?
That's what we're talking about. Yep.
So that's been really nice because it's really, I genuinely get a lot out of hearing and listening your experiences, but also what's happening in Australia. I'm just curious. Like I want to know, are we missing something in the UK? And actually, what's refreshing is that I think we're pretty aligned.
Yes.
And that's pretty cool. So that makes me feel like, both countries are sort of moving the right way.
And I think going forward, our future episodes, it'll be nice just to catch up. And I think our plan is to just chat about our week and see what clients we saw. What did we learn from the week? What mistakes did we make this week?
Yeah, definitely. But hey, listen, before we wrap it up, what does ChatGPT think?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, we were going to try this out. Why is it all times to stop working on me? ChatGPT, you there?
Here. Got something on your mind?
So you said we were going to...
Hey, so I'm just doing a podcast at the moment with my friend Antony.
Good job.
And we're just talking about the differences between folding chairs. And we want to get your opinion on what's the main differences between the Ottobock Avantgarde, the Kuschall Compact, the TiLite and Airrex, and the Quickie 2.
Oh, a nice topic. Here's a quick breakdown for you. The Ottobock Avantgarde, known for its customization, it's a lightweight folding chair, great for active users. It offers various options for adjustability.
No, that's
she's going to take our job here.
No, that's not good enough. You can't. I don't just want you to read the brochures. I really want to tell you, like, what are the key differences? Like, be really brief. Why would I go one over the other? Like, what does one do that the others don't?
You're comparing two options and need a quick run.
Yes, we do.
Could you tell me what the options are?
Well, like I said before, the Ottobock Avantgarde, the Quickie 2, the TiLite Airrex, and the Kuschall Compact.
Let's break it.
The Kuschall Compact as well. Sorry, man.
No worries. Here's quick.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. This is why everyone doesn't need to worry about any AI, because we're in the game, we know what we're doing, and they're not quite there yet.
No, they're not. But
which is good news for us.
We'll try one more time, and then we'll see how it goes. Just tell me the key differences and why I would choose one over the other when it comes to a Quickie 2, an Avantgarde, Ottobock Avantgarde, a TiLite Airrex, and a Kuschall Compact. Why would I go one over the other? Don't give me the brochure. Don't just read some specs. Tell me, why would I go one over the other? Go.
All right. Make it clear and simple. Quickie 2, known for versatility and a wide range of customizations. A wheelchair tailored to specific needs. Ottobock Avantgarde offers a sleek design and is lightweight.
No, I think what you're doing now is you're not listening to me, and it's really problematic. But you know what you've done? You've actually proven to the audience that you are not where we are at.
Yeah.
And I don't want to insult you. Don't try to be where we are. You're going to be out of a job. But if you are going to do it, come to me first so I can come with all the answers. But until then, you're fired.
Yeah.
But I hope you have a great day. Don't take over the world.
You know what makes me really laugh is that he apologizes to her. And that's really kind of you, Justin.
It's true. You never know when they're going to take over. You're not going to take over, are you?
That's great. On that note, guys, we're going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up.
But it's been great. It's been a great episode. It's been fun.
Follow and subscribe to all your favorite podcasting platforms, and have a great day. Be happy or not happy. That's okay.
Yeah.
But just be appreciative of what you have.
Yeah. Okay. But hey, listen, we'll all chat.
We'll chat next week.
Well, thanks for listening to We'll Chat. Cheers, guys.
Bye.